Hey y'all, it's Kay. Welcome to the KA Show. So today I want to talk about something that I see in my day-to-day life, but I hear a completely different story online, right? The thing that I want to talk about is protection and support. The reason that I want to talk about protection is because online there's a completely different conversation that I see happening versus what I see in my day-to-day life in regards to protection and support. Specifically, we are going to talk about the protection of women, right? So many times people have this idea that women should be protected. Then there's this other group of people who have the idea that women have to earn protection, or maybe you only protect women who you know. Okay, so first, before we really get into it, I want to talk about just the definition of protection. To protect means to cover or shield from exposure, injury, damage, or destruction. So, should men protect women? What about equality, right? That's something that I hear a lot during these discussions, especially online. Like, why should women get protected when they're doing all this fighting for equality? That's a question that I hear presented. The thing about it is, though, that could be true. Do we really need the protection from men? I think that women are generally weaker than men. I think that women generally would benefit from protection of men, whether that would be their father, their brothers, their uncles, friends, whoever, right? I am into it, but I know that some women do not subscribe to that. Some are just like, I don't need men to protect me. And I know that some men have an issue with that. So we are going to dive a little deeper into this whole protection and support situation as it relates to men and women and how we interact with each other. So as time has been going on, we all can see that gender roles are kind of broadening, right? A lot of people have different views than they would have had 50 years ago, let's say. So with that being the case, the protection becomes a very blurred subject for some people, because on one hand, it's women want this equality, but then on the other hand, women want to be independent and kind of do things for themselves. Men and women are equally important, but not the same at all. Men and women have lots of differences, some similarities, but we are very different from each other. Over the past 50 years or so, or longer, gender roles have really changed. So now in 2021, things are a lot different than they were in the 1940s or the 1950s or 60s or 70s even. So with all of this change, some of the expectations have changed as well. And some people are kind of stuck in the traditional aspect of things, and some people are thinking in a more modern type of way. So with that being the case, what do we think about this protection situation between men and women? Should men be protecting women? So a lot of the time when I see these discussions happening online, I think that a lot of men look at it as if women want men to jump in front of a bus to protect them, right? To put their life on the line to protect a woman that they don't know. I've seen a lot of pushback, like, no, I will not be putting myself in danger for some woman that I don't even know. Understandable. I understand that. I think a lot of women would understand that. Although there are men who would put their life on the line to protect a woman that they don't even know. But I think that when a lot of women are talking about protection, it's not even that extreme. Sometimes it can be as simple as not saying things that are intended to harm or humiliate a woman, things that are meant to hurt her feelings. Sometimes protection is simply not doing that. Now, something else that I hear a lot online, and the reason I keep talking about online versus in person is because online, these things are spoken about in a different type of way. Because in person, I don't think I've ever seen or heard a man say, I'm just not helping a woman. Unless that's my sister or my mom, I'm not going to protect her. I've never seen that in real life. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I just haven't seen it or experienced it. So when I'm out, let's say I'm at the gas station even, men will always offer to help me put the windshield wiper fluid in, pump the gas, whatever it is I'm doing, right? I think that's a form of protection. You were trying to help that woman do something that she may be having some trouble with, or maybe you just want to be nice. If you are at a bar and you're sitting there and a man notices that another guy is being really creepy towards you, he may just come up to put some distance between you and the creepy person, right? That is protection. It doesn't always have to be putting your life on the line. It doesn't always have to be going to these great lengths and putting yourself in danger to protect women. And I know that on the flip side of this, what is it that women need to do to get that protection? Because I know that there are some women who don't even want that protection. They feel insulted if someone says they need protection. It makes them feel less than, maybe. Some women feel insulted if it's insinuated that they need more protection just because they're women. Some women feel that way. I'm not going to say that most women feel that way. I don't think so. But some definitely do. So are men looking at it from the lens of the women who don't want the protection? Is it like, well, some women don't want this protection, so we're just not going to protect any of you? Like, is that what some men think? I don't know. Because like I said, these conversations online are a lot different than what I see actually happening in my day-to-day life. I see the protection in my day-to-day life, whether it be from my family members, my friends, strangers. I see the protection that men just naturally give to women. I have been on the receiving end of that plenty of times. But the online community is really different in my observation. Sometimes I'll see someone say something like, all I want to do is state facts. All I want to do is state information. And women are out here getting offended, talking about we don't protect Black women or we don't protect women. So the thing that I would say to that is, these facts and data, are they from a reputable source, or are they your personal opinions and observations? If they're your personal opinions and observations, it's really easy to communicate that. And I think that some of that miscommunication or pushback can be alleviated. If these are actual facts and data that are supported by some kind of research, include the research. I'm not sure I don't think many women would be that unreasonable to see actual data and statistics and say no, and then get mad. So when you're sharing information or when you're saying something that could be seen negatively, but it's actually true, I have no issue with that. None. But when you use your own personal experience, that is not necessarily applicable to most Black women or most women in general, then it makes it seem as if you are just trying to generalize all women based on some experiences that you may have. The reason that I think that that is problematic, and I'm not trying to get on men like that, women do it too. Women will absolutely say something about men when really it's just their own personal experience. It's just their experience. So if it's just your experience, make that clear. We all know, in 2021, people get online to tell their stories, they vent, whatever the case may be. So if it's just your experience, just try not to paint every woman in that same way, because you're going to get people that are going to be offended. Now, some people are like, I don't care who's offended. It doesn't matter if anyone's offended. I don't care about that. Okay, fine. But then we have to look even deeper. What kind of narratives are we trying to perpetuate about each other, especially in the Black community? What kind? There's this complete misunderstanding that I have something against men, which is absolutely not true. I love men. Men are vital and essential parts of society, families, just everything. So when we make up things and we try to generalize everyone or push these narratives based on how we feel, it could be detrimental. It's the same level of harm that certain stereotypes cause. So the same way that maybe a man doesn't want to be judged for having a hoodie on, which why would you judge somebody for having a hoodie on? But we all know that that is a popular stereotype that people have. Hoodies, oh no, dangerous type of thing, which is totally untrue. But when we push the narrative that women are a certain way or men are a certain way, just in general, and these things are often negative, it's detrimental to our communities. It hurts us more than it helps us. We do not want to keep pushing negative narratives about our own people in the Black community specifically. So as it relates to online behavior and the conversation around protection, I really think that men and women should protect each other by not continuing to push negative stereotypes about each other, not painting an entire sex with a broad stroke and saying, this is how men are, this is how women are, or even framing it as a question. Why do women, do this? Why do men do that? It's really easy just to modify it a little bit and say, in my experience, this is what has happened. Can I get some insight on that? It's easy without trying to rub people the wrong way by generalizing the people within a group. Now, a lot of people will say, well, everyone knows that when you generalize, we all know that that doesn't mean everyone. We all know that doesn't mean all. But again, I'm going to go back to what I was saying about pushing a narrative. Even though people may know that if you say men are this way or women are that way, even though people may know that that of course doesn't mean all men or all women are those certain ways, but it still perpetuates a negative narrative about a group of people. And we should really be careful of that because it affects us negatively on small scales and on larger scales. As Black people, we should really be trying to have conversations with each other, have civil conversations with each other. We can agree, we can disagree, but it should be all good in the end. We don't have to constantly be trying to fight. We don't have to be trying to one up each other. We don't need to do any of that. So when it comes to protection, we really need to think, and this goes for women too, women and men. We really need to think, what is it that we're saying online? Is this helpful or hurtful? Am I venting? Am I feeling some type of way? And I'm trying to let those feelings out. And I have no problem with people letting their feelings out. Let me say it again. No problem with anyone letting their feelings out. But you just have to make sure that you are speaking on your own experience and not trying to act like whatever your experience is the same for everyone. I don't know. Is there something that you use to measure whether or not someone deserves your protection or your support, whether it be online or in your day-to-day life? Is there some measurement that you use to see like, oh, this person, I'm not worried about them versus this person, I will jump in and help if I see them being disrespected or if I see them maybe in a situation that's not looking too good. I'm just trying to see how you all feel about this. How do you feel about the subject of protection and what that looks like between men and women in 2021? Do you think that all women just deserve protection? Do you think that only women who act a certain way deserve protection? Only women who dress a certain way deserve protection? Do you think that there's some kind of qualification that they have to have? Do they have to be your relative to get protection from you? And women, how do you feel about protecting men? And I'm not saying, go out and break up a fight between two men that are bigger than you or anything like that. But how do you feel about just making sure that you're not perpetuating negative stereotypes about men, or continuing to push narratives about men that are not true for probably the majority of men? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all later.